He's just imagining it. The end. I'm not gonna lie, the episode is kind of fun to watch. Aside from the torturing Squidward part, which I clearly hate, everything is pretty solid. But it also completely breaks the original logic. Instead of mystery, now everything is laid out. You imagine something and it appears. That's the joke now. After watching this episode, I realize now that this box finally makes sense, and I don't like it. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? The box actually makes sense now. We get a full look at how it works, what powers it, what goes wrong, and what happens when Squidward finally taps into it. And look, it's cool seeing Doodlebob again. The jungle bits are creative, and that final twist is low-key brilliant. On its own, the episode is actually enjoyable to watch, especially in the drought seasons of modern SpongeBob. But apparently, this episode got absolutely cooked by fans, for various reasons. Some said this episode just feels slow. Some said that this episode is just nostalgia-bait. Though, weirdly enough, I don't fully agree. It's not bad, it's just misplaced. It's a fun modern SpongeBob episode trying to cosplay as a classic, but I also kind of understand why they hated it. It's not really a great sequel, especially when you end up ruining the first one.
Remember, you can imagine anything.
As I said before, that was always the beauty of Idiot Box, the fact that it didn't make sense. You had to fill in the blanks, and you were left wondering. The whole joke was about being outside the box. The box isn't even a magical thing now. It's just a technology. Runs by an overheating imagination engine. This feels like getting amazed by a magic trick as a kid, and now once you know the trick, it's kind of like, oh, that's all it was? It's not that special after all. The magic's gone. And what makes this sequel even more ironic is that Squidward finally gets imagination, and he hates it. This is the guy who complained he didn't get to play pretend with SpongeBob and Patrick in the first one. And now that he's the only one who can use the box, he spends the whole time screaming from sea snakes, jazz gone wrong, bubble tornadoes, and Doodlebob committing assault. Poor Squiddy. That part specifically is what's hurting me the most. If you've been following this channel for quite some time, you do know that I hate how modern SpongeBob keeps picking on Squidward. You have to understand, Squidward was left out of the joke. That's the key to the comedy. In Idiot Box, Squidward becomes the stand-in for the rational adult brain. He's the grown-up man, too skeptical, too logical for dumb fun. And the show knows that. They try telling us, hey, you forgot how to have fun with your imagination. He keeps trying to find the trick, the wires, the speaker, the sound effects machine, but there's nothing. Because the box only works if you stop trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, the sequel tortures Squidward for the exact opposite reason. He's getting tortured because he can't stop imagining things. This isn't the box of imagination, this is the box of disappointment. Because who needs a TV when we have our writers to torture Squidward for 11 minutes straight, right? I'm not gonna lie. This episode leaves a sour taste in my mouth. On one hand, Squidward Box is fun. I'll give them that. The animation is solid, lots of cameos and throwback nostalgia jokes. The plot was also kind of good, especially the ending. But at the same time, I wish I never watched the episode. The downside of making a direct sequel to such a goated episode like Idiot Box is that you will walk in the shadow of it. People are going to compare it to the original episode and expect it to have the same kind of quality to it, if not better. But this episode is not even close to that, especially when you're also ruining the charm of the first one. You can't recreate a mystery by explaining it. You can't make a joke funnier by over-explaining the punchline. And you definitely can't top Idiot Box, an episode that worked precisely because it didn't make sense. They just did the exact opposite of what the original did. And if there's anything Squidward Box really taught us, it's that not making sense was never the problem. It was the magic. Which, funny enough, because that's exactly what we talked about in our last video, SpongeBob's age finally solved. You know, the one where we finally figure out how old this guy is, only to realize the answer makes everything way more confusing. Yeah, that one. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check that out, because just like this box, once you try to make SpongeBob make sense, things get weird. See you there.
What a magic moment.
Listen to